Whether you are on an adventure or at the downtown cafe, your answers are no more than a sniff away. Dog Training 360's purpose is simple: to teach you why dogs do what they do, as well as the action steps you need to take to have better communication, connection, consistency, and conceivability with your dog. We're going to talk about another behavior that we get a lot of, and especially in the spring, summertime when everybody gets out, where they've gotten dogs for Christmas or over the winter, and you're not really out a whole lot, or people aren't out a whole lot, and then all of a sudden we're going for a walk and the dog becomes reactive. Whether that's reactive at cars, reactive at people, reactive at dogs, reactive to noises. Yeah. That it's a real thing, and it's actually something that's, always a big one for us in come spring when everybody starts getting out and they haven't really set their dog up to be successful, or they didn't know that the dog had the problem because of the lack of activity in the winter. Yeah. And so leash reactivity is a thing. I'll get a lot of people like, well, they can be off leash and they're fine, but as soon as I put the leash on, then the dog is reactive and really aggressive. And one thing that I don't think people really realize is that the leash takes away a lot of communication between dogs. And so then it's hard for them, and we put them in a defensive place by having a leash on them, which we have to have a leash on our dogs, and they need to understand that. But we set them up to fail a lot with leash behavior, from allowing the dog to pull in any way, shape, or form. Whether you have a no-pull harness, the dog is pulling. You have a head collar, the dog is pulling. There's pressures to it. And so making sure that your dog has proper leash walking skills is loose, and the dog is walking with you, not you, the dog taking you for a walk type of feel. But here's the other thing that happens, and the number one thing of leash reactivity is people allow their dogs to socialize on leash. And when a dog is attacked by another dog on leash, it creates a very big defensive wall. And so then they're concerned. And so then they're going to become reactive to keep everybody away because they don't feel safe. And so I think that it's important I tell people all the time, your dog doesn't have to say hi to the dog walking down the street that's going to pass you. That's not a thing, and it shouldn't really be a thing, because you don't know.
No, and they don't really want to say hi. Sorry, people of the world.
Yeah.
Your dog doesn't really want to say hi to other dogs.
Yeah.
When you're out walking.
Yeah. If you watch their mannerisms, they're like sniff, 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 lick, lick, lick. It's not a very, hey.
I get when I'm walking my dog, hey, there's something over there.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Hey, there's something over there. And I'm just like, good, we're going this way. And they're like, oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. We're glad.
Yeah.
We're going this other way.
And when dogs are pulling to other dogs, and people just let them go.
Good. No.
It's really not that your dog wants to say hi. It's because you've done it, and they think that's what should happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not that they think that's not a social thing. It's not. It literally, to me, I tell everybody about, my feelings on dog parks and doggy daycares is like going to the mall and trying to make friends, like make lifelong friends.
Sure.
Not just being kind at the mall. It's like hey,
going
come over to my house and let's go hang. Yeah. Yep. And hanging out and making friends.
Yeah.
And I want you to come home with 7 new friends every day. And leash greeting and leash socializing is like being in your car, and at every stop sign or stoplight, you unroll your window and try and make friends.
Think about how creepy that is. Like if you were in the mall just as a person, walking around the mall, and then someone just comes up to you like they do to me.
Yeah.
Hey, I like your hair. Oh, thanks. It's really fun hair. I like it myself.
Yeah.
Are you from California? No, actually, I'm not from California.
Yeah.
And then it turns into this, did you want to go get an ice cream with me right now?
Yeah.
No, I'm here to buy soap, and I'm on a schedule.
Right.
Because later I'm having a party, and I thought if we have ice cream now, you might want to come to my party later.
Right.
And then you're like walking through the mall trying to get away from this person that is like, are you sure I have those same kind of shoes. Do you want to go running later?
Yeah.
Like, no.
Yeah.
No, we don't do that.
Right.
You know?
Yep. Yeah. And that's what leash walking and greeting is like, being in the car and unrolling your window and go, hey, how's your day going?
Do you want to ride? Where are you going?
Yeah.
I could drive you wherever you
Right.
want. Like, would you get in a car
Right.
with someone that's like, I'm a really nice person and
Yeah.
I'm looking for a friend?
Yeah.
I could drive you to the library.
Right. Right.
What are you doing after?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you'd be like, you are a serial killer.
Yeah. Creepy. Right.
Yeah.
But we do that
With our dogs.
with our dogs
and
all the time.
expect them to be normal about it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it really, if we're going to humanize, which we do a lot.
Yes.
If we're going to humanize our dogs, you really need to look at it in that perspective.
Sure.
It is not a thing, and it should not be a thing. And you're setting your dogs up to fail miserably. Miserably. Dogs don't mind going, we have a great park that has a great running course and walking paths, and people are there all the time doing their thing. And the dogs are having a great time with their person, and they're like, hey, there's a dog over there. We're just going to keep on running, because you're running too. And, they get into this like groove of, this is, it's a social event that, that we're all doing the same thing, but we're not
Together, really.
Together.
We're not being friends.
That's normal.
Well, and like I just think about my dogs. So my next door neighbor has 3 dogs, and our dogs can see each other. There's like a little hole in our fence, right? And the next door neighbor dogs just come over to the hole and they say, hey, we're over here. Yeah. And then they go back in their yard. Like the dogs that live exactly next door to me and my dogs that see each other every day through a hole in the fence are not friends.
Yeah.
They're just like, hey, we're over here. And my dogs are like, yeah, we know.
Right, you're right.
And then they just go on their own little lives.
Yeah.
In their own world. And because they're not like sitting by the fence, like
waiting for their friends to come out.
And doing things together.
Yeah.
They're not.
It's not a thing.
My dogs might not even really be friends with each other.
Right.
in our own house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're just not like.
Well, yeah. I mean,
friends
sometimes
the
Caroline's like,
are.
Amelia, I'm over you.
Oh, yeah.
You're
too much.
You're way too much. So I just don't like
too
it.
much. Yep. Go in the other room.
Yep. And so, I mean, it's so funny why we set our dogs up like that. And that is the number one reason for leash reactivity.
Sure.
Is because we
are weird.
Drive up and stop at the red light and unroll our windows and try and have a conversation with somebody else in a car next to you.
Yeah.
It's not a thing.
Yeah.
So stop making it a thing. You have your dog and you go on adventures with your dog for you. And if it happens to be that your best friend has a dog and you guys are meeting up and going to go running together, that's a thing. And it's a thing. If everybody wants to, we've done parties where people have brought their dogs over, but that's a thing because we're all socializing together.
Sure.
And
it's not a party for the dog to see each other.
No,
that's the difference.
Right. Yep.
Like you go to the party as a guest.
Yes.
Not go to a party to be set up on a date.
Right. Right. Exactly. So I want to encourage everybody to think of it through that way. And then think about backtracking with your leash reactivity and starting all over with your dog and helping them understand that we're not going to say hi and that we don't have to worry about that dog that's across the street or the car that's driving down the road. It might hurt us, so we need to go away from it. The sounds that trigger reactivity, then maybe change the picture, change the environment. I'm listening to a book and it talks about people that live a long life, and just certain traits about it.
Sure.
And there's very similar things to live a happy life and a long life. And it's kind of a memoir of all the people that are made it to 100 years old, kind of a thing. Sure. This is really it's a memoir of stories of people and one thing that they have all, how do you be happy? And, the one is eat well, and decrease your stress. So let's think about this from a leash reactivity. Let's make sure we're healthy, and that we are strong enough to be out walking, and that we're not in pain. And then And I'm talking about from the dog's perspective. And then the other thing is socialize and laugh, not socialize to argue and be defensive. So that means that you get together with like-minded and have fun and laugh, not go survive at the mall. And so I, as I listen to them, it's very similar to, dogs just want a happy, no stress, environment. And then the other thing is if you're not happy in your environment, to change your environment. And if we can help change the environment for our dog to be successful and gradually work back into maybe going to the park, that you can decrease those behaviors of leash reactivity that we've messed up or somebody else has messed up before you have gotten the dog.
Sure.
But I think it's, as much as we say stop humanizing your dog and stop having human emotions, we do. And if we can look at it from that perspective, that we're not going to the mall today.
Nope.
We're going to go out and walk.
And maybe you do like the mall, but you go at like 6 a.m. when nobody's there.
Right.
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Yep.
So
exactly.
Then you can go get your soap at the mall and not have to see any people.
Yep.
Right?
Right.
Or maybe you go to a mall in a different town where not as many people live.
Right.
So you don't have to see as many people. Right?
Yep. And it's the same concept with our dog. We're changing the environment so that we can be stress-free and happy. And it's the same thing for them. One of my roads in my neighborhood is just, it feels like it's nonstop dogs and fences and it stresses. Yeah. And so sometimes we have to go a different way, depending upon the dog or depending upon the day and how the dog feels. So it's important to think about, what can I change the environment to make it better today?
Well, and when we're walking dogs, we'll go pick up a dog from somebody's house and take him to a totally different neighborhood and walk.
Yep.
If we think.
Yeah.
That, it's really common for us to go pick up a bunch of dogs from different neighborhoods and then go to like our good neighborhood that we like.
Right.
Yeah. And where we know where, what the mood of the neighborhood is and what kind of people are there and what houses have dogs, and go walk the dogs there.
Right.
Because we know that it has like a better ambiance.
It's a happy feel.
Right?
It's the environment that we want them to feel safe in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and we do that all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. We're not going to go stand in front of a dog park.
No.
And hope that they work it out.
No.
We're going to help them by changing the environment and gradually work into things as things pop up. But it's important with leash reactivity to know that the dog has been put in a situation that they don't feel safe, and the leash does not make them feel safe.
And they have to get over it.
And yep. So I want everybody to think about that in any behavior in just that way. It's okay to think about it that way because it's not normal for us. And that's what the dog is feeling when you do things that triggers those behaviors. So don't go to the mall to make friends, great friends to have a party with that night.
Right.
Everybody has a social life of some sort, and that's the way you should be socializing with your dog. And also, you can change the environment to help your dog be successful, and that's not a bad thing.